Awesome. So today's topic is daily toxins in our everyday life. They're just hidden everywhere. Um, it's it's been this way for ages, but now we are actually being aware of it. Um, my slides are not moving. Okay. So, where are we finding our hidden toxins? If you're buying food in the grocery store, if you're buying the packaged foods, you find them there, putting on lotion, using sunscreen, as Betty Ann just talked about, cleaning products, clothing, PFAS and other chemicals to make your clothing resistant, and non-wrinkable. Water, drinking it out of a plastic bottle, air fresheners, laundry detergents everywhere. So, why do we talk about the toxins? There's our modern world is filled with synthetic chemicals, as we just talked about, all the places that they are. Maybe think about right now while we're talking about this, maybe something that you use all the time that might have a synthetic chemical in it. And you get the bioaccumulation of what's going on. So, small, tiny exposures add up. So drinking out of that plastic water bottle every single day, all day long, will add up because as things warm up, the plastic chemicals go in. Case in point, I know someone that had a fire recently, and all their supplements that were in the plastic bottle smelled of all the toxins that were in their house because they had expanded and allowed it in. Um, and all the stuff is linked to chronic health issues, hormone disruption, inflammation, fatigue, allergies, fertility, cancer, and long-term exposure can just cause things like hormone disruption, inflammation, gut health issues, chronic diseases. So we want to reduce the amount of chemicals that we're exposed so we can improve our raw health. So think about this. There's like 80,000 plus chemicals in the US that camera system that various companies are using, and few are thoroughly tested for the safety. Makes you wonder. So, the top 5 hidden sources in our daily lives um, are like personal skincare, cleaning supplies, food and packaging. Um, so let's think about our lotion. We'd already talked about lotion before when I was talking about skincare. So our lotion is certain chemicals in it, such as oxybenzone, which is more of a chemical instead of a physical sunscreen. And you want to use more of a physical sunscreen, something that has minerals or it has zinc oxide. Those type of things is what you need to be aware of. So look at it. You can use EWG. You can use Think Dirty. I just discovered another one. It's called Made Safe. So there's a lot of different resources that you can use. Even your skincare and cosmetics, they have paraffins and phthalates that are linked to the hormone disruption. So think about what you are eating. Apparently we're starting with the basics, the cleanser and moisturizers. I'm not doing a very good job with my presentation, guys. But think about what you're eating, what it comes in. They're covered in plastic. Their vegetables or fruit have a waxy substance on it. Convenience foods have other products in it that if you were to look at it, if you couldn't find it in your house or in the grocery store to bring it to your house, it is a chemical that we don't want. So you know that clean doesn't always mean safe. So think about the cleaning supplies in your house. Many contain ammonia and bleach and volatile chemicals, things that are disruptive to our respiratory system and contribute to our indoor air pollution. So, think about candles. If you're not getting a safe candle, They're emitting formaldehyde and fragrances, which are not safe. I generally don't burn a candle. Occasionally I will. I usually get it from Multifaceted here in Greensboro. She has safe wax, safe wicks. I can't remember what they're all made with, but they're good and clean. So back to the processed foods, the packaging. So look at Jif and look at the French's, all those things we don't want. We want to have real food, food that we can recognize as food. We have a choice of what we want to eat. You want to avoid the food dyes. You want to avoid the preservatives that affect our gut in adverse ways and disrupt our metabolic processes. We want to stay away from pesticides because we all know Monsanto hasn't been very nice to us with the Roundup. There's, a lawsuit with the Roundup. We're linked to cancer. The pesticides that are sprayed on non-organic foods. And non-GMO is not the same as organic. So we also want to be concerned about BPA and fatalates, as we talked about again, from the plastic containers that are leaching, okay? So our home space should be safe. We want to avoid off-gassing of paint on the walls, of carpeting on the floor, of new furniture coming in. So opening up the windows helps air things out. Dusting, we want to dust. If we don't dust, little things grow and then can be disruptive to our bodies. Plants will help give it a fresher space. It will take in our CO2 and give off oxygen for us. And we want to make sure we're cleaning with safe chemicals, okay? So the big one is what's in our closets. And that's not closets, it's supposed to be closets. So, Dr. Ring, I'm going to talk to you guys who are interested about this. The PFAS that are in our clothes, the flame retardants in our clothes and in our bedding, fragrances that are really bad for us. If you have stain-free clothes, stain-resistant clothes, water-resistant, wrinkle-resistant, they have forever chemicals in them. Any outerwear will have forever chemicals in them. Athletic wear, like yoga pants, school uniforms, kids' clothes that are stain-resistant. These are linked to hormone disruption, immune suppression, and cancer. So there's a study in the environmental science and technology that found that PFAS are in over 60% of the tested water, and it's coming from stain-resistant clothing. I have resources that will be in the replay about things, PFAS-free clothing and laundry tips, all right? I would recommend going away from the wrinkle-free and using dryer balls instead of dryer sheets that are coated in chemicals. If you walk past a neighborhood where everybody's running their dryers and you start smelling that stuff, that's off-gassing of the chemicals. So all this stuff has been backed by research. So the PFAS has been linked to hormone disruption and cancer and immune suppression. So back in 22, they talked about how it is affecting our bodies. Then they also have discovered if this is just one of hundreds of resources, fragrance chemicals that affect respiratory and reproductive care, health, women not being able to get pregnant, asthma that isn't going away, that the asthma always goes away, but people are having more attacks, harder ones. So these fragrances are everywhere, especially if you walk past a mall. Not Bed Bath & Beyond, but Bath & Body Works. And then there is that one, I don't know if it's still store does it still, but they spray the chemicals outside the fragrances and it's like overwhelming. So that's all disruptive to our health. So the endocrine disruptors accumulate in our fat tissue and affects our metabolism. Just recent, this April endocrine news for the endocrinologists have said that EDCs have been associated with adverse effects on human health, including reproductive disorders, neurodevelopmental delays, metabolic issues, and hormone-sensitive cancers. So the top 3 articles of this month's issue talks about the silent disruptors, how these environmental chemicals are threatening thyroid health and development, how it is these disrupting chemicals are affecting our brains as we age. So there is actually a test now that you can have done to figure out how much BPA you have in your body. It's not a cheap test, but it is available. So how do you start detoxing your life? Swap one product. Don't overwhelm yourself. So here's an idea for swapping products from home swaps. You know, instead of Clorox, get Force of Nature. It has great research. It killed like the COVID virus that was on surfaces. It's good for mold. Basically, you take this little doohickey here, this little apparatus, and you put a like a solution. It's part hydrogen peroxide and something else, and you put it in there, and with electrochemical reaction, you get a disinfectant. I use it in my house. You know, Windex, Tri-Branch Basics cleaners. I also use Blueland. I've used both of them. So there's a lot of swaps that you can do. Just choose one. Don't overwhelm yourself. As for myself, it's taken me 20 some years to get to where I am, and I'm still making swaps and still changing. I have the toxic leggings, you know, so it's not cheap to change, but with each change, you make it better for yourself and for your family members. As I said, take out EWG, Made Safe, the Detox Me app, a lot of options. So remember, it's progress, not perfection. It's like we talk about healing here. It's progress, not perfection. You've given up gluten. You find you feel better. You eat it occasionally. You find you don't feel good. It's okay. You know what works for your bodies. So you have the power to choose. Teach your children, your grandchildren, they see you making swaps. Just recently, I had someone in here that was noticing that as she was changing her dietary habits, she was affecting her children, and they were making better choices. And these were like 1- and 3-year-olds. So it really does help. So think about this, from the food on our plate to the clothes on our back, small daily choices add up. Every swap, whether it's your detergent, your deodorant, and use deodorant, not antiperspirants, because we want to be able to sweat, because that gets the toxins out of us, and dinner moves us closer to a cleaner, healthier life. So I have a call to action for everyone. Talk to a friend or a family member about something you learned today, something new, because each time we share with somebody else, we help the world become a better place. Read the labels on your cleaning products. Consider what one you're willing to swap out. Think about it. Let us know in a minute which one that you want to do. Just so I didn't forget, we have our walk coming up on April 26th. Walk, Learn, Thrive. We're going to promote wellness through connection. This was us last fall walking. It's about almost a 2-mile walk around Country Park. We have stops at various places to talk about the environment and health and the interconnection of the two. We're going to meet at Shelter 3 at 9 a.m. at Country Park. There's a parking lot right near Shelter 3.